Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We have an old saying on the recruiting trail: when you're hot, you're hot. Coach Prime, this Colorado Buffaloes program, extremely hot on the recruiting trail, not only in the transfer portal, but going to the 2025 high school recruiting class and landing one of the more coveted cornerbacks in the 2025 cycle in Alex Graham, guy that was previously from Detroit, Michigan, transferring down to IMG. I'll say this as a Michigan fan: Alex Graham was one of our top cornerbacks on our board, a guy that I am extremely familiar with. And I'll say this to the Colorado fans: y'all got a really good one in Alex Graham. Want to talk about Alex Graham, dive into the film, also have the conversation regarding Coach Prime, how he's building this roster at Colorado. Fired up to get into this one. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys, the Colorado fans. It's been an extremely busy last couple of days and weeks. I've had a blast talking this program. The amount of support y'all continue to show truly does mean a lot. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Alex Graham. Now, I want to start before we get into Alex Graham. Talk about the conversation that is kind of swirling around college football, and that is Coach Prime only building through the transfer portal, not getting it done on the high school ranks. Is that a sustainable model to build this Colorado program? And I'll say this: you guys know my take. High school recruiting is extremely important, but I will say this: Coach Prime inherited a very different situation than a lot of other Power 5 programs. And that was this Colorado roster going back to 2022 was arguably the worst roster from a talent standpoint in all of college football at the Power 5 level. And how did Coach Prime immediately decide to change that? He used the transfer portal. And this is a common tactic that you see a lot of new coaches. Lincoln Riley and USC have been doing it well. Hugh Freeze at Auburn have been doing it well as well. And it seems like Coach Prime kind of gets knocked for using the transfer portal as much as he does. And I'll say this: the college football transfer portal has proven to be a phenomenal model to build a program. And again, I don't think it's as sustainable to completely build your roster from the transfer portal. But in Coach Prime's kind of example and situation at Colorado, he needed to use the transfer portal a little bit more than other Power 5 programs because that roster was brutal in 2022. So yes, he's getting some heat for using the transfer portal. I'd say, take a look at that roster in 2022. And now take a look at it going into 2024. It is night and day better for this Colorado program. I fully expect Coach Prime to have more of an emphasis on the high school ranks as he goes forward. But the first 18, 24 months, he needed to use the transfer portal like he did to start immediately winning football games. Now, getting to Alex Graham, this is a player that a lot of Colorado fans should be really fired up about. I want to start with just being a box checker, right? He's got phenomenal length. He plays downhill, and he's physical at that cornerback spot. Y'all grab Cormani McClain in the 2023 class. Why did Cormani McClain not work out at Colorado? I don't want to speak on the extracurricular stuff because I don't know what happened. One of the things that Cormani McClain really struggled with was the physicality at the college football level. This was a guy that did not put on much weight, wasn't playing physical enough at that Power 5 level. You can check all the athletic profile boxes that you want in terms of being a cornerback, but if you don't play with that physicality, you don't come downhill and tackle, you're not going to be a good cornerback. You look at Alex Graham going into his senior year, 6'1", almost 200 pounds. This is a cornerback that is physical. He's athletic, and you kind of feel good about what he's going to look like down the road for this Colorado program. You get into the film of Alex Graham and say, one of the things that you absolutely love is how he gets downhill and tackles, right? Playing that cornerback role, you are going to see him consistently fire downhill and be physical at the point. It's something that at that cornerback position, you don't see a lot of cornerbacks at the high school level do a good enough job of, again, on the film, dropping back, firing downhill, making tackles in open space, getting the ball knocked out. And then the ball skills. Again, this is a guy 6'1", big frame, knows how to play the football in the air. That's another thing that you don't see a lot of from cornerbacks coming from that high school rank where, again, they check off all the athletic profile boxes. Again, kind of using the Cormani McClain kind of example. There was a box of an athletic profile box that Cormani McClain didn't check. The ball skills, the physicality at the catch point, those are some of the things that you saw Cormani McClain struggle with. Alex Graham going up, using that frame, making a play on the football. checks a lot of boxes. He is a phenomenal athlete too. I'm not just saying he's a physical cornerback. You take a look at the movement skills, getting in and out of his breaks when he has the football in his hands. That type of stuff translates when you're playing cornerback as well. That quick area twitch. This is a guy that shows that on the film too. So when you start combining the frame, the physicality with the movement skills that Alex Graham has, that's probably what excites you the most. And again, working through a block, being active in run support. I'm a big fan of Alex Graham. He's a physical cornerback that from an athletic profile checks a lot of boxes. I am really excited to see what this 2025 class is going to look like for this Colorado program. I think Coach Prime knew what he needed to do during his first 18 months with this program. That is, we got to win some football games, right? Guys are not going to want to come to Colorado from the high school ranks if this team continues to only win 1 or 2 games. And so what did Coach Prime do those first 2 years? Really used the transfer portal. They really turned around that team. A lot of people like to dunk on Colorado last year. They had a big turnaround from what they were in 2022. 2024, you think they're going to take another step with what they've done in the portal. I think after this year, in this 2025 class, you're going to see kind of a switch. Say, we're still going to use the transfer portal, but we are going to get the high school recruiting off the ground as well. Alex Graham kicking it off for this Colorado program in the 2025 class. Sounds like we're going to have a lot of Colorado football to talk about over the next couple of days and potentially hours. We'll keep you guys updated. Again, Colorado fans, appreciate y'all rocking with the fellas. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll be back when Colorado news happens. We'll be covering it. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.